Have you ever taken profits too early, turned winning trades into losing ones, chase trades because of FOMO, or get scared and panic out at break even every time? These are some of the issues that I personally dealt with, and a lot of it has to do with my trading psychology, which I believe will make or break in becoming a consistently profitable trader. Think about an NBA player. In practice, they can make thousands of free throws, but how many can make it under pressure in a game 7 to win the championship? So it's not just about being a good analyst, because even a monkey can be taught to recognize patterns. It's about, can I stay calm and do the right things in the midst of chaos? This is why we can all get into the same exact trade at the same price and at the same time, but all end up with different results. Some may profit big, some may profit small, some may even lose on it, and it's because we all have different levels of pain tolerance, fear, greed, FOMO, all these human emotions that can steer me away from staying objective in my trading. So how do I deal with this? Well, a lot of that solution came from one of my favorite trading books of all time, Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. Now, when I first read this, it was still very early on in my career, so I didn't really benefit from it. It was the second time I read it, after having more experience under my belt, is when light bulbs started to go off. Now, every time I come back to it, that light on that bulb just keeps getting brighter. So in this video, I'll go over what I got out of this book and share some of my own personal experiences and what actionable steps I took that helped my mental game that led me into becoming a consistently profitable trader. Before I get started, as a disclaimer, always remember this is not financial advice. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. So first, let's talk about beliefs. The human brain is scary powerful, because no matter what the truth is, depending on my environment, that can alter and even create my own version of reality. In the book, he gives a story about a child that meets a dog for the first time. That dog bites him. So after that one unfortunate experience, in his mind, in his own version of reality, all dogs are monsters. His perception now is that every single one of them are vicious, they're aggressive, they attack, which is not true, but now gets scared of any or all dogs that he comes across. Now, if I look at a second child and he has the friendliest first experience with the dog, he may have a different version of reality. All dogs are just the best thing ever, which is absolutely true. No, that is also not true, but that's the power of belief. Two people, two separate experiences that led to different versions of their own reality, no matter what the truth is. Look at religion. Where I'm born in this world can very well influence and even determine my religion. If I was born into a Jewish family, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, all can heavily impact my own belief. Now, even though everyone can't be right, each and every one of them truly believe that they are. Same goes for politics, gangs, sports teams, all influenced by our environment and our own personal experiences. And the scary part is that even when shown evidence that fight it, some people will ignore it and refuse that information because their belief and their own version of reality is so strong. Just like how a girlfriend may start making up an entire movie in her head when her boyfriend doesn't pick up the phone, when all he was doing was peacefully playing video games and just simply didn't hear the phone. And it's most likely because she was cheated on in the past, and that pain and fear has now leaked over into this new relationship, which really isn't fair for the new guy, because this should be treated as its own thing, a new experience, a new opportunity, just like how we should for every new trade that we take. So when I look at the stock market, each one of us has our own experiences that create our own versions of reality and our own beliefs about it. So if I've been hurt in the past, I look at any new trade and may start making up a movie in my head, which brings fear into my trades, which is just false evidence appearing real, when in fact, every trade should be taken as a new opportunity, a new experience with new information. So my belief, my own version of reality is what may be clouding me from the truth. And what is the truth? The truth is, some dogs are good, some dogs are bad. And depending on their mood that day, the good dogs may bite and the bad dogs may behave. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I do not know who's on the other side of this screen. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't even know what type of mood they're in that can make or break my trade. That's totally out of my control. I'm not Professor X. I can't read minds. The only thing I can control is my own trading plan and execution. So to me, this is a game of probability. I'm not here to be a fortune teller, because it's only when I start to predict and expect things that I leave myself open to be disappointed. Because if I feel fear in the moment, so I decide to jump out early, only to see the stock go without me, I'll be disappointed. If I feel greed, so I hold on to it, only to see it fail, I'll be disappointed. So it's best to not do random shit at random times based on feelings, and just accept that some trades will work, some trades will fail. no matter how perfect the setup is, I can't 100% know what will happen next because there's just way too many unknown variables. So the best approach for me is to just stick to the plan and rules that I know has an edge and leave it in the hands of probability. So how do I think in probabilities? Well, look at how a casino runs. They don't try to guess what every single bettor is trying to do. That's impossible. Because again, there's just way too many variables. I mean, I've seen a guy hit on a 20 just to get a laugh from his buddies. Nothing they can do about that. Instead, all they do is place a set of rules that gives them an edge and follow it to a T over and over again. They don't care who sits down at the table. They trust in their system and follow it. And as long as there's people constantly playing hands, they can just let the numbers work in their favor. Whether the casino wins or the player wins, it doesn't matter. It's just clockwork for them. The casino isn't going to start changing up their rules and their behaviors just because of a bad night. It may not feel nice at the time, but they've been around long enough to know that in the end, it'll work out. That's why the winners get free rooms, comp dinners, gifts, all of these things so that they can come back and play more hands because it's a numbers game to them, not an emotional one. Now, the goal isn't to turn into some robot. I mean, I'm still human. It's okay to feel emotions, but it's to acknowledge what's happening and to have a shift in mindset that keeps me aware and on track to do the right things. Now, to do that, I need to understand that it's a long game because the thing about probability is that it still works in a random sequence. Let me explain. We all know the game of heads or tails. The chances are 50-50. But we can look at this in two ways, at a micro level and at a macro level. Just because it's 50-50 doesn't mean that if it's tail this time, the next is going to be heads. Every flip is a new opportunity, a new 50% chance of landing heads or tails. So on the micro level, it's a lot less predictable. If I were to flip this 10 times, it can all be tails, even though the probability is 50%. But on the macro level, the bigger picture, if I flip this 10,000 times, the heads or tails count may be closer to that 50%. So on a macro scale, it's a bit more predictable. I personally have about a 67% batting average. That means out of the next 100 trades that I take, I'm going to lose 33 of them. But there's just no way of me knowing in what order. So when I go through losing streaks, to be honest, it's just much easier and actually less stressful to just stick to the game plan. There's less thinking involved. Because if I go on a 5-trade losing streak and I turn into a wimp and get scared on the next one that it's going to be a loser too. So I go out of my way to take early profits on it on the first move up, only for it to continue without me. And had I stuck with the original plan, not only would it have recovered the last 5 losing trades, but it would have paid for my steak dinner tonight. I never know for sure, so it's best to treat each trade as a brand new opportunity and just stick to my plan and rules that I know has an edge. Because again, just because the casino had a bad night, they're not changing up the rules for blackjack tomorrow. Even though if those 33 losses all come at the same time, I have to be mentally prepared for that because no matter how unlikely, anything can happen. Now, of course, this is given that I truly do have an edge first. So you know what? Let's around and find out, because this is a lot easier to say than do, because in real time it feels like I'm getting ripped a new hole to fart out of. So how did I build up my confidence? I had to prove it to myself. So let's talk about accepting the risk. Just because I take risk doesn't mean I accept it. Everyone who places a trade is taking a risk, but the ones who are accepting the risk are at peace with any outcome. So what I did is I gave my strategy a fair shot. If I truly do have an edge, I want to know. So you know what? For the next 100 trades, I'm going to follow my trading plan to the T. And at the time I was risking $50 per trade, only because there was commissions at the time. If I were to do this again today, since there's no more commissions, I would probably drop that down to $5 since I'm not getting too emotionally attached to $5. And if I am, I'm probably not ready for this business. So worst case scenario, if I lose all 100 trades, I lose a total of $500. That's a pretty good deal to find out if my strategy really works. So for the next 100 trades, I'm not only going to take, but truly accept my $5 risk per trade. Nothing more, nothing less. So whatever happens, all I'm going to do is follow my trading plan to the T and see what results I get. I mean, why not? Let's just try it. And I did, and I still remember the satisfaction that I felt from having my first $100 day. That is actually still the highest moment of my trading career till this day. I mean, I've had 20,000 plus days now, but it's not because of the money. But it was the fact that for the first time, I felt like a professional trader. I felt like I went after the right setups. I handled my management perfectly. I mitigated my losses on the losers, hit targets on my winners, and just did the right things. So it was like a big aha moment for me, and it almost felt like that was day one of me becoming a consistently profitable trader, almost like a light switch that went on. So by proving to myself over a large sample size, that helped me build confidence in my trading system, making it a hell of a lot easier to just follow it and stick to it over my feelings about it. Now, I still make mistakes here and there, it happens, but whether it was intentional or not, I'm able to snap right out of it and fix it right away because I learned to take responsibility. The stock market is basically like a poker room. Everyone in there is to take each other's money and put it into their own pockets. So if I'm someone who gets angry and blames the dealer and other players, what I'm basically saying is the dealer is there to shuffle in a way that always favors me, and every single person in there should fold whenever I bluff and play hands the way I believe is the correct way to play them. And anytime probability tips in my favor, I should always win. That makes absolutely zero sense. It's a free-for-all, right? Any two cards has a chance to win. So I should take responsibility for all of my actions, and that's just about the things that are out of my control. I like to compare the market to the ocean. We can all agree that none of us has control over what the ocean does. So if I'm a surfer and I get hammered by the waves, I can either say, man, those waves were rough today. Put the blame on the ocean. How dare you not give me the waves that I'm used to? Or look at it and say, I wasn't ready for that. So how can I better prepare myself so that I am ready whenever the waves do get this volatile and keep myself safe? It's always on me to make the right adjustments. Now, going back to poker, if I went all in pre-flop with pocket aces and the other player calls with 7 deuce and wins, that was my choice for calling. There's no reason to get upset about it because it's not like I had a 100% chance of winning. And there's no need to get pissed at the other player just because I personally wouldn't call with the 7 deuce. His belief and my belief are totally different out of my hands. Because if the other player lost, that's his choice for calling, and I would be saying, thank goodness for players like him that can pay me off. So everybody is responsible for their own actions. So the only thing I need to worry about is what I can control. Because guess what? I would take that same bet every time that opportunity showed up. Because I know in the long run, the probability works out in my favor. And the times that it doesn't, hey, gotta throw these people a bone once in a while to have them keep coming back. So let's put this all together. So how do I avoid letting my emotions take over my trading and operate like a true professional trader? So first is separating my personal belief from what's actually happening on the screen. I have to accept that the most perfect setup can fail and the worst setup can end up being a home run and everything in between. All the moving parts that's happening behind the screen that can make or break my trade is totally out of my control. So the best way to approach this is to not expect or predict things in the market, but to think in probabilities. Now there's the micro level, which is a lot less predictable, and then the macro level, which is a lot more clear. So to prove to myself that my strategy truly has an edge, for the next 100 trades, I'm going to risk as little as $5 per trade, truly accept the risk and follow my trading plan and rules to the T. I'm always going to take my stops. I'm not going to chase trades, get FOMO. If I miss it, I miss it. I'm not prematurely exiting. I'm just going to follow my management plan because I take full responsibility of all of my actions, no matter how unfortunate the outcome is. And after a long series of 100 trades, I came out on top. And I proved to myself that I should trust my own trading plan more than my own emotions. It was like an epiphany. Aha! This is what it feels like to be trading in the zone like Mark Douglas. Check out the book. It's an awesome one. There's a lot more I can discuss. Maybe I'll make a part 2. But for now, if you enjoyed this, got something out of it, hit that like button. Let me know in the comments what your aha moment was. As always, I appreciate you being here. I hope to see you on the next one. Peace. That was good. Trading in the zone like Mark Douglas.
Yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey.